Welcome to Consciously Inspired Minds, where we ditch the default and live life by design. I'm your host, Brandy White, personal growth enthusiast, entrepreneur, and lifestyle coach. I host conversations with creators, entrepreneurs, healers, and educators committed to living a life of truth, intention, and connection. Understanding how to discover their inner vision to design their outer world. Our guests take us on a journey of what it means to embody a life of conscious inspiration, joy, impact, and service. Get ready to be inspired. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Consciously Inspired Minds. Today, I have Steve Del Gardo, the Cannoli Guy of Del Gardo's in Covington, Kentucky. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited to have Steve on today. I mean, this is going to be a really fun interview. And I was just telling Steve that his energy is just so magnetic and so fun. And yeah, I feel like I really need this in my orbit today. So
that's good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, amazing. I want to introduce you all to Steve. So again, Steve is the Cannoli Guy of Del Gardo's Cannoli. He's located in northern Kentucky, specifically in Covington. So a few miles from Cincinnati, Steve?
Right. Just a mile from, less than a mile from downtown Cincinnati, right across the bridge.
Perfect. And as you all know, I have every intention of bringing on a lot more local entrepreneurs, leaders, healers, educators who are living a life of truth, intention, impact, and service. And Steve embodies all of these things. And so I met Steve through, as some of you know, my publication called Hyde Park City Lifestyle. He is a partner of ours doing amazing things, and wanted to also have him on the show and get him acquainted with all of you and vice versa. And you can go in and say hi to Steve. And I think that you're going to be really curious and excited to go visit him here in Covington shortly. So a little bit about Steve, the Cannoli Guy. He always says that life is too short. He found this to be true when he was diagnosed with cancer and was told he would have if he had waited another month to see the doctor, he would have been told to get his affairs in order. So from that day on, he knew that he had to start living a life that was meant for him. And so fast forward 12 years, Steve beat cancer, and now he's living the life of his dreams, being the Cannoli Guy for Del Gardo's.
Right.
Steve really wants people to feel good about life, enjoy the small things, eat cannoli, drink wine, and be merry with friends and family. He gets to live his dream every day and wants to share it with the world, with cannoli, great friendships, and more. I mean, what else can he ask for, my friend?
That's right.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Cannoli.
I love it. Cannoli. And so we're going to get into all the amazing flavors and offerings that Steve has. But first, I'd love to kick things off as I usually do, Steve, a little bit about your childhood and how that impacted and informed who you are and where you are today.
You know, I grew up on Long Island, New York, in Italian culture. It was amazing having a lot of cousins and family around, and we discussed we enjoyed life with family around the table with food. I mean, it was always food. It was like, we had the living room and where people usually go to sit and talk, but we talked around the table of food in the kitchen or the dining room. And we just see it for hours. And I always loved that about my family. Whatever it is, we discuss about life, future, family, friends, around the table of food. So, and then see everyone in the kitchen making the food. And it's just a culture of that. And I embrace that. I love it. And I had a great childhood. I mean, I have no complaints. I still have lifelong friends from the neighborhood. We still talk to this day. It's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a nice pool in the backyard. We had pool parties, we kickball, we goes to the graveyard. We were outside, went on adventures with friends. My mom and dad, thought, taking a bike ride. I was gone for hours, just, exploring the neighborhoods around us. And, it was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And growing up in the 70s, no internet, no cell phones. I just remember all those good times growing up, and I wish I could go back to that time. It
Yeah.
was like the best time of my life. Up, 12 years old and playing baseball. You don't see that nowadays.
Yeah.
Now it's all like, it's all organized. Back then it wasn't organized. We got around the ball. It was just great.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
fun. I mean, it was a beautiful childhood.
And it sounds like community has always been really important to you. And I think that'll give a little bit of insight into your involvement with our local community. And I mean, you show up in so many places, Steve, and you can tell that what you do is really on your heart. And you're a guy who just likes to give. The very first day I met you, you're like, come on to the shop. Let me get you some cannoli. And so, I mean, there was no way you were going to let me leave without a cannoli, and it was delicious. But yeah, and I just got that feeling, that really grounded, kind, generous feeling. And it's like, and that's how you're treating your customers, like family around the table. And that really came through that day when I came into your shop. And it's all about enjoying the cannoli and filling people's hearts and their stomachs, as you say. So I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about the birth of Del Gardo's and really what inspired that, and how you found the location in Covington as well.
So, after I beat cancer, my father was like, you should go after your dream. I mean, since I was 18 years old, I always wanted to open my own Italian restaurant. I used to draw up plans for it and design the restaurant, and I had names for it. But over the years, life happened. Go to college and you start working at a job and to make money, of course. Then you meet, I met my first wife, and then you have kids. But the dream's kind of like, it was always in the back of my head, but this life happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then cancer, I got divorced and cancer happened a couple of years later. And then my dad said, okay, what do you want to do the rest of your life? Do you want to go back to the corporate world? I'm like, no, I really don't. I'm like, I wanted something fun, something I'm going to enjoy, something I can just go to work, but not really work, but smile on my face every day, listen to my music, my Frank Sinatra, my Dean Martin when I'm cooking. So I was going to do a Del Gardo's coffee bar, but I realized there was too many coffee bars in the area. It was all the same. All the coffee bars are the same. Like, there's no niche. So I pulled back from that. I opened up my great-grandfather's cookbook, and I landed on the cannoli page.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
looking at it. I'm like, cannoli, huh? All right. I think I can do this. And then next thing I know, all these flavors were coming in my head. And then it was born 2017. It was like, I think it was summer of 2017, I think. And all these flavors, they're coming out spring of 2017. I can't remember. But I remember all these flavors. And I was in the kitchen making these flavors. And next thing you know, I started donating my cannoli to Cancer Foundation to get the word out and let them experience what I can do.
Mm.
And then a year goes by and I decided, I need to open up a shop and do a cannoli bar. I need to go to a place where it kind of resembles the streets of New York. I start looking in Covington, and I'm looking around. Like, yeah, this reminds me of some of the streets in New York. I'm like, all right, I'm getting the feeling. I'm like, all right. And I landed on this place on Fifth Street, my first spot. It was 1,000 square feet. And then I had these ideas in my head, these designs on what it should be and everything. And next thing you know, I had like 50 flavors at the time, and I started doing wine and coffee, and people were coming into the place, and the cannoli business just took off. And for 5 years, there was like a test market. Okay, how should I do? I was doing it for 5 years to see where it goes, right? But then the momentum started going. People all over the place, like different restaurants were asking for my cannoli, and it just exploded. And then after 5 years, I wanted to go to another location that had more foot traffic. I'm the type of guy, I want to be in where the action is.
Yeah.
On the Fish Street, it was kind of a dead zone, and I was just like, towards the end of the 5 years, a lot of people weren't like visiting my area anymore. They were coming down where Hotel Covington is, Hannaford, Ripple.
And you're right across the street from Hotel Covington, too.
Right.
Yeah.
So this place opened up, and it was wild because how it happened, it was like a guardian angel, because in July, my lease came up, and I needed to go to another spot. For 2-3 months, I couldn't find anything. I thought I had to close Del Gardo's. I got depressed. And I was at Hotel Covington one afternoon, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, and that moment, I heard a voice in my head said, leave. You need to leave right now. So I left, and that's when I ran into Susan Smith, who works at the city, and she goes, Steve, what's wrong? I'm like, and I told her what's going on. She goes, I got a spot for you. I'm like, what?
Wow.
It's right next to across the street from Hotel Covington. It's open. And she goes, I called a realtor. She called a realtor. I came down here. I put my money down. And I got the spot. One I really wanted. I got my dream right where. And that voice told me, he goes, you leave at this point, and I guarantee something's going to happen. And it did. And now I'm in this great spot. I'm in the middle of the action. My sales have tripled, and I'm having I'm enjoying life even more.
I love it. When going back to the inspiration behind Del Gardo's, and after your journey with cancer, what was the moment that you decided? Do you remember that moment that you decided that life is too short and I've got to put my heart into what inspires me?
It was after when the doctor told me that news, you have breast cancer, and if you wait another month to come see me, you get your affairs in order. That hit me like, it hit me hard. And I was just like, what have I done up to that point? Something was missing.
What had you been doing at the time?
I mean, my life was in disarray. I mean, I was divorced twice. I was out a lot. I was losing the clients. Just my relationship with my parents kind of sour because divorce. I had a child, and everything was in disarray. And then cancer hit me, and there was a wake up call. God said, like, all right, I kick you in the butt. I'm gonna make you appreciate life. I'm like, it's gonna be a hard lesson, but you know what? You're gonna get through it, and then you're gonna come out stronger than what. So I was kind of reborn after that. So after that, things just opened up to me. I'm like, okay, God, all right, I hear you. I know what I need to do. And then my old self went away, and the new Del Gardo was born, and I've been riding this wave ever since.
How did you start to get clarity around that? And I'm asking this too, because I think so often when we're up against life and challenges, and life is throwing stuff at us when we least expect it, and we have to be resilient, and we have to have a positive mindset, and we have to sort of be in this energy of there are no plan Bs. We have to keep going. And of course, people are seeing you now, and you're living this dream, and you're reaching and touching so many lives in our community. But I'm sure the road wasn't easy. And so what kept you inspired? What kept you going on this path?
My father always taught me to always be positive.
Yeah.
Your body will know if you're being negative. And I want to always have a positive mindset, whatever it is. I'm like, I always, like when I was going through my cancer journey, that was a wake-up call, because I saw a lot of people who were depressed and they were angry at God, angry at their doctors. And I refused to be angry at anyone. And it wasn't God's fault, and it wasn't the doctor's fault. It's just a life. It's, my dad said, it's an obstacle, it's a challenge. You're gonna get through it. Be positive, put a spin on it. And I always grew up, I lived in a sarcastic household. We always teased each other, my parents. So I kind of, all right, I'll just make fun of cancer. And so I did a little, like when I do my speech about what I went through, it's not depressing, it's not doom and gloom. It's kind of funny, how a man gets a mammogram, or going through the journey as a man through what I would consider to be a woman's disease at that time. So I kind of took a funny approach to it, and I made a positive thing out of it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this positivity, help others, and be their support. And I'm like, all right, let's, I do these speeches, and I help people. Like, I want to make sure they teach them, like, don't be angry. Don't be mad at the world. It's not anyone's fault that you got cancer. It happens. So how are you going to be positive and see what you can do to give back?
And you also you had founded Protect the Pecs also, which was a foundation. And now that you partner with Karen Wellington Foundation as well, who supports, women and families impacted by cancer, incredible things. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. But what do you think that your journey with breast cancer specifically, because I don't know all the statistics behind men being diagnosed.
When I was going through it, it was 1 in 1,000 men will be diagnosed with it. Right now, the numbers are getting worse. 1 in 800.
Wow.
So, women is 1 in 8. It's a devastating disease. It's not a women's disease. It's hereditary. Men and women get it. We're all born with breast tissue, and men out there need to realize. I'm like, you can get it. You can have the gene. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, but you can pass that gene to your offspring. If you got, family members or had breast cancer in their family, the women, the aunts in your family, your sisters. I mean, you can, as a male, have that gene, but.
What took you into the hospital to get checked?
Huh?
What took you into the hospital to get checked?
Oh, I found a lump. Taking a shower. Found a lump near my heart. And I'm like, they're like, well, that should be there. But my dad would he's noted to get some like I think about a month before that, he had a cyst on his back. And I'm like, oh, it's probably a cyst, because it's not behind my nipple. It was near my heart. And I'm like, all right. Well. And I went to get checked, and I did that whole thing. And they said, oh, it's benign. It's good. Should disappear in 6 months, whatever. Well, that didn't happen. Like, it turned into cancer. And cancer doesn't run in my family unless, ovarian cancer does. But breast cancer does not run in my family. So mine was a fluke. But when I was going through cancer, I was going through my treatment. I realized there wasn't any really foundations out there for men. There's no support system. There's nothing like, because all the support system out there is made for women. They get the wigs, they got the hats, different things, but nothing for men. I'm like, what do we get? We don't get anything. And there's no support. There's no care packages ever made for us. I mean, we were just, we go bald too. Where's our toupees?
Sure.
Or hats or whatever. We don't, so I wanted to start a foundation to educate, not raise funds, but educate the public that men get breast cancer. So I was thinking about this foundation, this idea I had. So I called up my good friend Jerry Pastelletti. He's another Italian guy, and I said, and he's in advertising and he's a graphic designer. And I called him up. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a foundation. And he goes, you know what, Del Gardo? I was thinking about the same thing, and I got a logo for you already. It came to my head the other night. So I'm like, oh, this is just crazy. So he came up with this great idea. It said, there's an Italian boxer with a pink and blue boxing gloves. I'll send you the logo. I think.
Oh, I saw it on your website. So you can see
website,
on your website. Yeah.
So that's, it was great. So I did that. I mean, I reached a lot of people through Protect the Pecs. I did speeches all over the country. I did speeches at universities.
You told me about like hundreds, thousands, maybe.
Yeah, I did. Like at first, there was 1,600 people to 8,000 people to 20,000 people speeches, and I reached and then just reached a lot of people. I did for 5 years, but I realized I wanted people to. Here's the thing. So, breast cancer. I didn't want people to find me as a breast cancer survivor. Mm-hmm. I know it's a club. It's not a good club to be in. I understand it. I want to be known as the Cannoli Guy. That's in the past. I'm like, yes, I went through breast cancer. I don't want to be defined. Oh, see, Del Gardo, you're the male breast cancer survivor, dude. I'm like, yeah, but right now I'm the Cannoli Guy.
Yeah.
And that's, I didn't want cancer to define who I am.
Sure.
So it's very hard for me when I go to these support galas or these parties, whatever, and they say, hey, if you're a breast cancer survivor, please stand up. I never do. And people say, stand up, Steve, stand up, show the world that I'm like, and I'm like, and then, I do stand up, and we're like, oh, I'm like, because it's like all women and one guy. I'm like, it's that stigma. I didn't want that. I was like, please don't put the focus on me. It's the women out here that needs to focus, not me.
I understand that as a man.
Yeah, I just sit down. I'm not embarrassed. That's why I'm not embarrassed about it. Sure. I mean, I'll stand up all day, but it's like, all right, I've done it, did it, focused on the women that really need it. I'm okay. That's the thing. It was just hard for me. It's still hard for me to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it sounds like you spent your time kind of pouring yourself into that mission and purpose. And now it's kind of like we're constantly moving through, kind of reinventing ourselves. I would consider myself as I've reinvented myself plenty over the last 5 years, and people tell me so. And I'm proud of that. And so, and it's not always, it's like these certain identities, if you will, quote unquote, identities serve us at the time and kind of bring us lessons and allow us to make certain connections and to heal and to grow. And then we're sort of evolving and moving into this new identity to fulfill other intentions and life purpose. And again, to learn more lessons and grow and give. And so I can empathize with that in the capacity of moving through different identities and evolving and just wanting to put our efforts and energy into things that are inspiring us at that time. And it sounds like you served the community well during that time. And now you're the Cannoli Guy. Like, let's bring some fun and levity and support special causes through the cannoli. So I love that. Yeah.
And I love supporting the community, especially Karen Wellington Foundation. I know Ken Wellington very well, and I love what his foundation is doing, and I'm always involved. I just love, whatever I can do to help it. If it's like today, I'm donating like 4 dozen cannoli to his foundation. Like one of the recipients is decent cannoli. If my cannoli can bring a smile to someone's face for one day, that's how I measure success. And because, people always measure success on how much money they have, what materialistic things they have. Me, if a person comes to my door, they get a cannoli and they leave with a smile, that's success right there. That's my success.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the cannoli.
Sure. Everyone loves about the
Let's
cannoli.
get to the good stuff. So you have 200 flavors
Yes.
that
Yeah.
are
200.
that you're sort of rotating through. You
Yeah.
probably have what, 5 to 6 flavors you say
I
a
did
week?
5 to 6 different flavors, maybe 6 flavors every week.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about what makes your cannoli special. I mean, I know what makes your cannoli special, but let our listeners know what makes your cannoli special.
People make cannoli. I see people, they just slap the cannoli cream inside the shell and call it a day. Me, I'm a perfectionist and I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I know people like to eat with their eyes. So I try to make a cannoli to look appetizing, but also taste amazing.
Mm.
So I kind of like what I do is like, I get my inspiration from bartenders, friends. It's like, I can take that amazing cocktail and turn it into a cannoli and make it look like a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do that. I want to get the best ingredients and hype the cannoli using a pastry chef that looks amazing. You look at this cannoli, you'll know it's a Del Varno's cannoli. The way it's filled, the way it's presented, and the way it tastes.
Yes.
I like people will know what the standard cannoli is. Everyone, there's some people who can just do the regular chocolate chip cannoli or pistachio cannoli. Well, let's take it to another step. Let's take this and make it into an art, like a crazy flavor I did for a Japanese restaurant. It was a spicy plum sake cannoli with a hint of cayenne pepper.
Mm. Wow.
Something no one has ever done before, even for a Japanese restaurant. And I'm like, all right, so I did it. People love it. I did a matcha one. I know.
How are you coming up with, or how are you sort of experimenting with these flavors? And what's your background or education in food?
Oh, it's just so, when I was 18, I was a chef's apprentice at an Italian restaurant.
Mm.
But then from there, I was always in the restaurant with my family and my grandparents. But I always like to experiment. Like I'm in the kitchen, I'm like, oh, see how this goes with that. Just experiment. If it doesn't work, well, okay, it doesn't work, I'll throw it away and I'll try again.
Yeah.
But I always tell people like this, people who always ask me, how do you get your dream, or how do you get where you need to be in life? I say you got to love what you do, but here's the thing with the cannoli. You have to practice your craft every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm always in the kitchen experimenting, right? And I never give up. I'm like, if it doesn't work, you try again and to get it right. And I'm a perfectionist. When if I take pictures of my cannoli, when I post pictures,
yes,
I take 5 to 10 pictures, right? And it's got to look a certain way. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Throw it away. Even though it might be perfect to you, I know something's wrong with it or the way it is. I'm a perfectionist.
Mm. And you can tell on your Instagram feed as well. We'll take folks there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be.
It is art.
Good. Appetize. People look at that. I'm like, I got to have that.
It's a very elevated experience.
So I don't know, for example, I get inspired wherever I go. I think I was sitting somewhere and I saw an umbrella that had the red and white swirl. I'm like, hey, it's a good idea for a candy cane cannoli. I had to do a peppermint flavor cannoli. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'll go someplace. I don't know. It could be anywhere. Going to Crone Conservatory, looking at flowers. Okay, I could do that with a cannoli. Wherever I go, I find inspiration.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
right? And then I called up my, friends I know who are in the business. Chef Kayla Robinson. She was on the Food Network. And I called her up one day because she's also a pastry chef. I'm like, hey, you know how people get writer's block? I got a cannoli block. I'm like, I'm having trouble with flavors. So she goes, Steve, get the flavor Bible. You go to Barnes and Noble, order it, get the flavor Bible, and that will help you. And also just ask your friends and like me or bartenders, because they got some creativity, what goes with what. So I talked to them. I got a couple of bartenders at Hotel Covington. I sit down with them and we come up with what will work, like, like rosemary or orange peels, or let's start with cherries. If you think about different flavor combinations, and they help me. I'm like, oh, why don't you try it this way? Why don't you add, like, for instance, I did a screwball peanut bourbon tiramisu with caramel drizzle on top. They said, see, now just add a little bit of salt, like a salt flakes on top of the tiramisu to give that extra flavor. And did it combined
Brought it all together.
that little salt flakes that I put on top. It just elevated that dessert by 100%.
And this is why I love collaboration. And I think this is also something that you do so well at in the community. Also, I mean, even when for instance, I'm thinking about certain events that you serve your cannoli, birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, any kind of events around the community. And, some of the flavors, like for weddings, for instance, old fashioned, a sweet Caroline, the limoncello. Yeah. And so allowing events to kind of inspire some of those flavors and some of those ideas. And when you and I were talking, when we first met, you're like, you have a bourbon cannoli. You're like, I'm going to see if I can partner with my bourbon guy. And I think that's so important in business.
Yes.
And I think it's so important to, like, there's enough to go around for everybody. And how can we collaborate, and how can we build team and connection that inspires bigger ideas that serve our community in a much more impactful way. And that's what you do. That's what you embody at Del Gordo.
I want to inspire, like Farmer's Nate. It does this incredible he's the hot sauce guy. And I say, look, I want to partner with you. I got an idea.
Love it.
But I want you. I was like, I want not a sauce, but a glaze to add to my dessert. But I'm like, I want you to come up with something. I want to inspire. Like, I like bourbon. I like cherries. I know what surprised me. Whatever you make, I can make a cannoli with it. So he made this ghost pepper caramel glaze. And I add that to, I think I added to a tiramisu and to a cannoli. People loved it. Some other flavors they did. He did a cherry habanero glaze. And what I did was I took strawberries and I marinated them in a cherry habanero, right? Strawberries and cherry. Who would that? And it worked. Mm-hmm. People loved it. I did a garlic habanero sauce with the strawberries with white chocolate drizzle and a tequila, and I filled it with tequila cannoli cream.
It's like, who thinks
combination? It was insane. And people, the bartenders, like, wow, garlic habanero strawberry with white chocolate drizzle, and you filled each strawberry with the tequila cannoli cream. They were like, that's insane.
So where are your cannolis? Where have they been taking you around Cincinnati and Covington? Like, what sort of opportunities are you getting? Give us some ideas about the future and what you see for Del Gordo.
Cannoli is taking me to places I never thought they would take me. For instance, this customer came in this past weekend and she says, well, I took a direct flight from England to Cincinnati and you're my favorite place to come. So I'm bringing cannoli back to London.
I saw that post on Instagram, on your feed.
So she goes,
cool.
Because I did this last time. I took their cannoli to Rome. And like, I eat your cannoli in Rome or London. I'm like, it's the best. There's no other place that has this. People from LA wants me to put a shop in LA. They go, you got to put a shop here. I think you'll do great. I'm like, let's work on getting you a place in LA. Cannoli has taken me to LA, to Chicago, Philly. It's coming a global thing. Mm-hmm. But one thing I always wanted to do was, because I have a good friend, Rob. He was my manager at a computer company many, many years ago. And he goes, stay small. Think big, but stay small. He goes, do not expand too quickly. I'm like, a lot of companies, they expand too quickly because they got, big ideas and they fall. I've seen that with local companies around here. And I'm like, I don't want to be that. I want to be exclusive. So if I can put a shop in LA, maybe in a shop here and a shop, I don't know, Florida or New York, and be exclusive, like have like 5 stores, maybe you can get Del Gardo's at, and that'd be fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to, because if you start franchising, you lose the quality. Mm-hmm. And I think, and then I can't be at all 5 places at once or 10 places. The Cannoli Guy it's hard to replicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's only one Cannoli Guy and I love what I do. And I'm just like, I don't want to go, once it starts being corporate, that's where I leave. I'm like, I didn't want to go corporate. Mm-hmm. I'm not the guy sitting behind the desk. I'm the front of the house guy. When people come to that door, they're surprised that they see me. I'm like, you're the owner? You're working? I'm like, yeah. I mean, how many owners do you see working behind the counter anywhere? And even when people call me, they go, are we talking to the owner? I'm like, yeah, the owner's answering the phone. Yeah. Who else would it be? Oh, an employee? I'm like, nah, it's just me. I'm like, no, if I'm going to do this business, they're going to get the Cannoli Guy. When they see me, they come in. I'm the Cannoli Guy.
Yeah.
Not some...
You're the someone else and the energy behind Del Gardo's.
Right.
You are Del Gardo's. And so...
Right. And I love it. And I wear this shirt wherever I go. Like, yeah. I went to the Pitbull concert last week.
Oh, I saw this too for your birthday, my friend. Yes.
So here I am. I'm like section 400, right? And I'm standing there, and next thing I hear was the Cannoli Guy's here. The Cannoli Guy. I was looking like, dude, Pitbull's on stage. Don't worry about me. Hey, the guy is going crazy. I'm like, calm down. I do get out once in a while. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's like high-fiving me, I'm like, dude, Pitbull's on stage. I'm like, this guy is rocking it up this like,
but that's who you are.
Yeah.
It's like your business is just an extension of who you are and how you connect with people, and that feeling of sitting around the table with family and building that belonging and that connection and that love. I mean, that's what you feel when you walk into your shop. And then let's talk about the graffiti on the walls too.
Oh, the graffiti.
Tell us about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from New York. And so a funny story is, so I was at my old shop and there was a magazine I was going, a local magazine. I see this guy was like from the Bronx. He does graffiti and he was a pioneer, the graffiti artist in New York. And in the 70s, he used to tag the train. Now he's a big time artist and the graffiti artist, and he does other works. I'm like, I don't know, I'm going to call this guy. Hey, how you doing? I'm from Long Island too. I want to meet you. Can you come in? So he came in to meet me, right? He's like my age. Like, I think he's like 54, 55 at the time, or in the 50s. And he's talking, and it's like talking to a fellow New Yorker. We're just, shooting the breeze. And then I said, hey, can I get the old school, old time graffiti tag on the wall? He goes, I don't do that anymore, and it's gonna be really expensive. I'm like, I don't care. Put it on the freaking wall. So he did his old school. He did his old school graffiti tag on the wall at Del Gardo's, and it was great. And then he did a few more murals for me, and him and I became close friends. I became good friends, right? So as years went by, I told him to get into the new spot. And I said, I want you to put a new graffiti tag on the wall. And he goes, all right, Del Gardo. So he goes, I'm going to do you up one really, really special. It's my last graffiti tag. And that's it. I'm not doing any more after this. You're the last one. So he did this tag, Del Gardo's, and he knows I'm from New York. So he did Statue of Liberty torch. And then he did the Coliseum on the other end, and then the world underneath. He goes, Del Gardo's, New York to Italy, taking over the world. You are Del Gardo's. Del Gardo's is it.
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and I love it. And people come in, they see that, they get their pictures taken in front of it, and I just love. I don't know. I just love. I love people coming in and seeing that. They're like, that is pretty awesome. And they take pictures with the cannoli. They see, can I get a picture with you? I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm like, all right. And just seeing people just smiling, just they they have a good time until they come in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure going back to what we were talking about earlier, as an entrepreneur, it's not always easy out here. And it's a lot of bootstrapping in the beginning, especially, and a lot of it's a mental game for
It
sure.
is.
And so, in the beginning, especially, it's okay. I'm sure now people are coming in and you see how people are experiencing your food and your product and your store and you personally, the cannoli guy, and how you're making them feel. And I'm sure you hold on to that
Mhm.
as your inspiration to keep going when you have tough days.
Oh
What
yeah.
about the beginning for some of our newer entrepreneurs who are trying to get into this game? What would you tell them?
You know, being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. I mean, it's up and down. I mean, one week you're running high, next week you're low, and it's gonna be curves. Just stay on course and be positive. I'm like, you're gonna get through it. Just like anything else in life, there's gonna be hiccups. Just don't give up on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then always ask for help. There's people out there willing to help you. There's other entrepreneurs out there going to where you're going to reach out to them. They will take the time to talk to you. And, I reached out to my friends who are entrepreneurs and, and also I rely on my dad a lot. My dad's like, you're fine. It's okay. Okay. Today you only made $25. I'm like, but a couple days you'll make $1,000 or you might make, it's life. I'm
Yeah.
like, you'll do fine. I'm like, plus, as an entrepreneur, I'm like, I'm still new. I'm 5 years in the business.
Mm-hmm.
But with COVID, okay, you're 4 years in business. I'm like, there's a lot of they say restaurants fail in a year. Well, yeah, they do. But if you got something that's good, we keep working at it and just don't give up on your dream. I mean, I keep pushing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I went all in. I got no plan B. I went all in.
Yeah.
I took everything I had, all my money, and I put it into my dream. I'm going for it. I'm like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell entrepreneurs, I'm like, there's sirens are happening.
I hear
Sorry,
'em.
stop them,
It's okay. Right there in the city.
it's passing.
Yeah.
So I do is I tell entrepreneurs, I tell this to my son and everybody. If you're gonna start a business and you're chasing the dollar to be rich, you're not gonna do well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Don't do it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it for the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one thing I don't do. I didn't get in this. I was gonna make $1 million at it. I did it because I enjoy what I do, and if I can make money and pay bills, and that's what I'm doing, that's fine. I'm good. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're in it to, I tell my son, I'm like, if you want to start your own business, make sure it's a better humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you find something you're gonna help better one's life,
Mm-hmm.
not just you. So the reason I got into the cannoli business is like I want people smiling to eat my cannoli. And then, they're having a bad day, worst day, whatever, come to Gardo's. I guarantee you're going to leave with a smile
Yeah. Yeah.
and have a ball. If you come in here with the attitude, well, I'm a New York guy. I'm going to give you attitude, but you're going to leave with a smile.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is all about that experience. It's like it's all about that feeling, that experience, that life that you're cultivating, and it's up to you to kind of I mean, to have some accountability in that, to stay focused, and we were talking about this on another episode with Bobby Manelli at Household Books and Walnut Hills is, I mean, it's like, how do you know when you're acting impulsively or based on intuition when you're starting a
Right.
business? And it's like, you have to have that North Star.
Right.
You have to be really grounded in your purpose, your why, your vision.
Your why? What's your why? You got to what is your why?
Yeah.
And also, you cannot be afraid to fail. That's the one thing. Like, you cannot. If you, I'm like, and I do this. I'm like, you know, you got like, how many times did Jordan throw free throws? How many times did he fail? You know, you're gonna fail. No one gets the rock, you know, right on the first drive. They do. Well, good for them.
Yeah, I know. And having a good support system as well.
Yeah.
And being as involved as you are in the community, I mean, you have people supporting you. I mean, and so let's talk a little bit about that too. The places that you're showing up in Cincinnati, Covington. What are some of those experiences that you're having here locally, and how are you giving back? What is your community outreach and involvement with different organizations?
You know, I get calls a lot to donate, and I used to donate my cannoli a lot, and I decided, you know, these people need experiences. So what I do is I donate cannoli classes to silent auctions. So it's a 6-person class or a 10-person class where I come to your house if you win the silent auction item. I come and show you how to pipe and decorate cannoli with wine, charcuterie boards, and I tell stories, and I get, you know, it's a great time. Wow. And I love doing it because when I was at the other location, I did cannoli classes at my location, and I showed a lot of people on how to pipe and decorate. I did I think I did enough that I showed like maybe 1,500 people how to do it.
Wow.
And I met a lot of great people, you know, do that thing. But now it's like, well, instead of me selling the classes now, what if I donate the classes to the charities that come to me? Hey, can you donate? Yeah, I'll donate a class. I'm like, you know, the value is like, you know, $700 to $1,500. And then you raise money, and the Cannoli Guy will come straight to your house one evening, and I'll guarantee you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm involved with a lot of charities. There's so many. There's a lot.
And then the organizations too, the Bengals and FCC.
I do Taste the Bengals. Okay. I do FC Cincinnati, served by the pros. October 4th, coming up, I'm going to be at the Newport Aquarium for the Wave Foundation Nautical Night. I'll donate 300 cannoli.
Wow.
For that, I'll be there on a Friday night. And people love it. I've been doing it 3 years in a row. I go there every year. And I just
we'll have to put that in the show notes. Yeah.
Huh?
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, it's great. So, and then I think that's my last major event for the season.
Okay.
And weddings too. I do a lot of weddings, you know, here at town, here, and I'm doing one. This is great. October 11th, I'm doing a wedding, and I love it when the bride come in and they come with their, you know, their fiance and their families, and I do tastings, you know, and I sit down with them, and they're so excited about the cannoli, and I asked them, like, hey, what are the details, and what's the colors of your wedding? What's your favorite dessert that you like to eat? I'm like, not cannoli. What's your favorite dessert? I'm like, wow, you know, I like chocolate cookies, or I like Oreos. I can do an Oreo cannoli. I'm like, oh my God, really? I'm like, you know, I see their excitement. I'm like, I just don't think of a cannoli as a chocolate chip cannoli. What's your favorite dessert that you like? Oh, you like black raspberry chip ice cream? I can do a black raspberry, you know, cannoli. And just something exciting. And then I said, when are you guys getting married? And I'm like, well, we're getting at like October 11th. We get married at Ambly Village in a tent. But they're not eating until like 8:30 p.m. at night. I'm like, and they were like, you know, they're talking about logistics, how they get the cannoli there. You know, they were stressing about it. I'm like, guys, I got you. They're like, what do you mean? I'll deliver personally with the cannoli, and I'll serve the cannoli for your wedding. They're like,
Wow.
you would do that?
Steve, wow.
Yes, I'll do that. I'll come to your wedding, right? And I'll make sure I'm dressed appropriately, and I'll serve cannoli. All right. So the father's like, we got a meal for you. You come at 8:00. We got a meal for you, ready to go. You come and you have all the drinks that you want. We want the cannoli guy there. This will make their night.
So good.
That's what I want. See that? We're like, wow. And he goes, the cannoli guy was there at the wedding and he was serving cannoli.
Steve, you know what just came to me? You have to make t-shirts. Like, you have to make t-shirts that said, like, experienced Delgardo's cannoli, the cannoli guy or something.
Yeah, I need to do t-shirts. You're right. That's my next adventure.
Yes.
Do a t-shirt, do t-shirts.
It is an experience. Like, you are giving your customer a wonderful, fun, tasty experience.
Yeah. I mean, I was at this wedding like 2 years ago. It was a big Italian wedding. And they said, we want you there. And I'm like, I'm not really interested. But I'm like, all right, I'll go. So I went, and people were coming up to me doing selfies with me. And it was all self-serve. I was just like, why am I here? I'm like,
why am I here?
next thing you know, I'm on the dance floor dancing, right? Kissing the grandmother on the cheek, involved in pictures. People are going to go through their wedding album years go out like, who's that guy? I'm like, cannoli guy. Why is he kissing the bride? I don't know.
Local experience.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So you have your event coming up at the aquarium, you had said.
At the Newport Aquarium. It's a nautical night benefiting the Wave Foundation at Newport Aquarium. They still get tickets, I think.
Okay.
But it's like, it's next week, October 4th.
Okay, so this might air after the fact, but okay.
Right.
So, but nothing coming up that you want to announce through the balance of the year, or maybe any flavors coming for the holidays, or
the holidays. I'm doing, holidays, bourbon eggnog, candy cane, pumpkin mousse, candy corn. Just there's other flavors I'm working on, and plus, Christmas is pretty big around here, but Valentine's Day is one of the biggest thing around here. So I do chocolate covered strawberries, but also do cannoli with little roses on the end of it. Aww. So I make it, for your significant other, come to Delgardo's, get your chocolate, your roses, and your cannoli all in one.
Love it. And then folks so you rotate 5 or 6 flavors out because you have over 200, and they can visit you at your website, delgardos.com.
Delgardos.com. I would say go on my Instagram, Delgardo's Cannoli. You'll see all the flavors. The specific times I do close, even though I'm open on Wednesday night through Saturday. I'm a one-man shop. So sometimes I do close on certain days because I do private events.
But you always announce that. You're really good about
announced it on my not on my website, but on Facebook and Instagram, and I put it on the door, and I say, hey, I'm closed tonight. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm doing a private event. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. But if there's a flavor that isn't in the rotation for that week, then they can order it and pick it up. Yeah. With a little bit of notice. Okay. So any flavor that they see on the site, they can order from you and pick up. Yeah.
They can call me. Like, I got an order October 5th. Someone ordered 2 dozen pumpkin flavor cannoli.
Okay.
So, but and I always tell people, if there's a flavor I haven't done yet, challenge me.
Yeah.
Give me a challenge. That's what I want. It's like, challenge me. I want to do something that's totally different.
Yeah.
Give me something that's like, I got one person asked me to do a Skyline Philly one. I'm like, no, that's
whoa, easy.
Well, I'm like, I don't know about that. Let's put that to the side there. I'm like, I got to think about that,
Yeah.
But give me something. I want something, challenge me.
Okay. I'm gonna give that some thought myself. Okay, great. Perfect. All right. So, Steve, again, people can find you, delgardos.com. And then what's your Instagram handle?
At Delgardo's Cannoli.
Delgardo's Cannoli. And then we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right, my friend, a few closing questions for you.
Okay.
All right. How do you live a life of truth and intention?
I say, you got to stay true to yourself. I believe in God. People ask me, do I have a business partner? And I say, yes, it's God. God is my business partner.
Mm.
He keeps me straight, and my family keeps me straight. My son, just everyone keeps me accountable.
Yeah.
My friends do, my family does. But, I don't know. I guess I believe in myself, and I don't know. I guess the upbringing I have. I mean, my dad always taught me to be a good human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw my dad always give back to the community. He gave back to United Way a lot. And
Mm.
Danny Thomas, the St. Jude Foundation. I
Yeah.
saw what he did. And I'm like, I want to be like that.
Mm.
And I want to help people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've, had good intentions just to help those out there that need it. Health. Everyone needs a smile. Everyone needs to be inspired.
Yeah.
How can I do that? And the only way I can do it is like really through cannoli. I say, I want, help the world one cannoli at a time.
Beautiful. Steve, what gives you clarity?
Clarity. I haven't, you know, clarity. Oh, it's a good question. I used to be, I used to be, a negative person, but every day I wake up, here's the thing. After I beat cancer, I had a good friend told me every day is a gift. And I believe that every time I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I thank God I'm alive. How am I going to make this day count?
How am I going to make the day count? Yeah.
And I do. I make sure I don't know. I just have a different outlook on life. I can't explain it. It's like I smile a lot and I enjoy life. I talk to everyone. I'm like I always have a clarity. There's no cloudiness in my soul. I don't know. I can't explain it.
On those bad days, because everybody has them, what do you
Everyone
do?
has
What
bad
grounds
days.
you?
I
Grounds
do.
you in those tough days?
I do. I know. I listen to. I do. Sometimes I listen to music. I find a funny movie, or my son lives with me now. I see him. He's doing well. Life is good. Family's healthy. Friends are doing good. And there's some friends I've lost in the past, but they lived a good life. And I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard question for me to answer because I just love life.
And
I
you,
love what I do. There's bad. I don't. It's been a while since I had a bad day. And my bad day is when I look at my sales, like $25. What's going on? That's a bad day. I'm like, but my dad said this. He goes, Steve, you got a roof over your head. All right. You have a beautiful life. I'm like, so what? $25. Big deal. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better.
And you get clarity through cannoli. Clarity through cannoli.
My cannoli. When I come in, so a bad day. So how do I get over a bad day? I go in the kitchen. I make spaghetti meatballs or chicken piccata and have a glass of wine. I got Frank Sinatra on the radio. I'm smiling ear to ear, and I'm sitting down eating my beautiful dinner, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
Totally forget about, what happened an hour or two ago.
Totally. Feeding your soul. Feeding
I'm
your
like,
soul.
whatever. It's like food for the soul. I'm like, I don't know. I just go through life like, I'll be fine. It's all right. Oh, I got in an accident. It can be fixed. All right, whatever.
Yep.
I try not let things get get down on me. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't
Not to
want to be that.
catastrophize things. Yeah, because
You
it's
know, I
easy
see
to
a lot
do
of
that
people out there
sometimes.
who go through life and they're just like they're angry, they're moody, they're mad, like I said, mad at the world, and it's like that energy. And I'm just like, I come walking in with a smile on my face. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. It's quite the
What's so
remedy.
bad? Come on, big deal. It's
Yeah.
be fine. Tomorrow's another day. Start all over again.
That's right. What does it mean to you to live a consciously inspired life?
God, what does it mean to me? Hey, guess what? That's what that interesting question.
I'm going to take that as a
No
compliment.
one's ever asked you that. It was like, my father inspired me a lot.
What is his name?
My dad's name?
Yeah, you've mentioned him quite a few times today. What's
His name is Al Del Gardo.
Al Del Gardo.
He always worked hard for his family, and he's still alive. And my mom,
Yeah.
but always wanted to be like my dad. My dad was a businessman and took care of this family and did a lot. Never accepted help from anybody. He didn't like that. He asking for help was very hard for him. He never asked for help. I think he thought that was a sign of weakness, I think. But I asked for help. But I see what he's done. He always gave to the communities, and he always helped my friends and help people that are in need. And he always would give help and never received help. But man, he inspired me to be just a better person. He always makes sure he says, put family first. And he instilled that in me. Put family first and help people and just be positive and just inspire those people around you to do better.
Yeah.
And I try to inspire my son. I mean, my son, he goes to UC and my friends of mine would say, oh, he's not going to go in the business with you. I'm like, no, this is my dream.
Mm-hmm.
His dream is out there. I don't want him to do what I'm doing. This is mine. It's not a family. I don't understand why family does that to other people. It's like, it's not their dream. It's your dream. Let them go out and get their dream. And I told my son, I'm like, whatever it is, make sure you love what you do. That's very important. If you don't love what you do in life, you're going to have a miserable life. Make sure you love what you do. Whatever it is, money will always come later. Don't worry about the money thing right now. Don't worry about, oh, I'm going to get these cars. I'm going to get this house. Yeah. That's thing. Everyone's getting a car and a house. Worry about what you can do to help people, help yourself, go after your dream. And, and then read. What inspires you? What books are you reading? I got to read books too. I haven't made a chance to read lately, but listen. Oh, I don't know why. I'm sorry. I feel like ADHD.
No, you're
I
good.
listen to motivational speakers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I listen to almost every single day. Mm-hmm. Motivational speakers on YouTube.
Are there any that you like best?
Unbroken motivational speech. I would listen to that every day, and I would listen to it's a compilation of different motivational speakers, and every day I would listen to that for years, every single day, and it got instilled in me what I need to do, and always, would tell you, don't be afraid to fail, and and love what you do. Those two things were instilled in me. Love what you do and don't be afraid to fail. And that got me through some tough times doing my business. I'm like, keep pushing. Don't give up on your dream.
Yeah.
I'm like, you will win. And winning, people who want to win. I mean, I feel like I'm winning every day. I win.
Yeah.
And that's where I got a lot of my inspiration, my motivation from those speeches.
I mean, that's powerful. I personally, I read every day. I listen to podcasts every day.
Yeah.
And very specifically, all personal development. I mean, if you were to come into my office and see all the books on my shelf, it's all personal development, spiritual texts. Right. And that's just what lifts my spirit and touches my soul and keeps me on purpose. And And so it's all about putting ourselves, and I say this all the time, in places and spaces that inspire us and that support us. And so really being able to nurture that, because we can't do it alone.
Right.
Yeah. And so we'll be sure to put a link to Unbroken in the show notes too, because I think that
Yeah,
that's really important.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, those inspirational movies people watch, like, like Rudy. I mean, that was an inspirational movie for me. What he went through, he never gave up on his dream.
Yeah.
Those type of movies, like
People need
Invincible
hope.
with Mark Wahlberg. I mean, A Dream. I mean, those dreams. I'm like, yeah. I mean, they never gave up.
Yeah.
They never gave. They kept pushing at it. Kept pushing because they knew one day maybe they get that one small break. They got it. I'm like, all right, they could do it. I'm like, I think I could do it.
You never know how close you are. And the other thing too that I try to keep in mind is telling myself that I'm further along than I think. Like, I'm further along than I think I am, and how far I have come, and so living an authentic life and being true to who I am and showing up authentically and on purpose is really important to me. Yeah. So
yeah, I got to learn to check the ego at the door. Check your ego at the door. Be humble. Yeah, be humble. Yeah. And just there's always people out there who are less fortunate than you, but what can you do to help them? I volunteer at the children's home in Northern Kentucky. My friend Rachel, she works there. She goes, would you like to come in and teach these kids what a cannoli is? And I'm like, yeah. So I've been going there once every 3 months. They got a new group of kids, and a lot of these kids, they don't know what a cannoli is. They never had anything like that. So I showed them what a cannoli is. But here's the thing, though: they'll fill the cannoli. Like, you're gonna fill the cannoli. Yeah. They're like, what? I'll show you. And and then see them, like, wow, and asking questions. Well, how'd you get how'd you get started? I'm like, how do I get started? What do I need to do? I mean, these kids, you never, had a really positive role model in their life. They ask me questions, and it's great seeing the look on their face, and they're like, wow, this is, and they, they call me Mr. Steve, which, it's kind of quick, Mr. Steve, and they're so polite, so well-mannered, and it's great to see, it's just to see them every few months, and they're only there for a short time going to the program, that they get sent back home to the parents. So there's these new kids I see all the time, and it just breaks my heart because I just want to hug each one of them and tell them, hey, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be all right. I mean, you're gonna be fine.
Well, that's what your cannoli is. That's what the cannoli is. It's a warm hug telling us it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's a warm hug that you need.
Yeah.
So if I can help the young people out there, I mean, whatever I can do, I mean, it's what I want to do.
We're lucky to have you here. We are.
Thank you.
We are so lucky to have you here in Cincinnati, Covington, and serving our community and bringing your love and light and support and community outreach. And so thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your light with us today. Thank you for being you and for sharing your cannoli. Everybody, go to Del Gardo's, get your cannoli, meet Steve, take a picture by the graffiti, throw it up on your Instagram. Let's keep this moving. Let's keep this moving.
That's right.
And then I'm going to keep on him about some t-shirts, everybody. So
we got to do the t-shirts. Definitely.
Yes. Beautiful. All right, Steve. Well, thank you so much. It's been such an honor, my friend. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Sound good, Brandy. Have a good one.
Until next time. Bye-bye. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you'd like to learn more about Consciously Inspired Minds, you can visit us at consciouslyinspiredminds.com. If these episodes have you wondering how you can design a life uniquely inspired by you, head on over to modelifestylecoaching.com. That's MODE lifestylecoaching.com and schedule a free call. I'd love to learn more about your deepest desires and how we can get you closer to your authentic life vision and impact.
Until we connect again, explore what inspires you.